Excuse me. Well, it's Monday night. Welcome. My name is Joe. I'm gonna play some Soulherder tonight. The list is unchanged. As you see, it is the list that I played last weekend. I believe the week before. It's felt good. It's very flexible. It's kind of the nature of the deck. It's supposed to be able to respond to a wide variety of types of matchups. Whether we need something like Skyclave Apparition or something like Uro or something like Stonehorn Dignitary, we run 4 Eladamri's calls to be able to grab whatever we need. In my list for the last month and a half, 2 months, I've been playing Aether Vial and have been enjoying it. Hey, DV Neil, welcome. Glad you're here. Early today, I guess. I myself am about 15 minutes later than usual, so I'm sorry for that. Had a late dinner today. The most recent change, or one of the most recent changes, was adding a Glasspool Mimic, and honestly, I just haven't been crazy about it. It's just been a little bit awkward. I sideboarded out a lot of the time, and it might seem like the cost of running it is pretty low, but I've just had people talk about whether Canopy Vista should be replaced with something else, and personally, I find that the drawback on Canopy Vista, or I should say the the criteria that it requires in order to enter Untapped, pretty easy to satisfy those criteria. Glasspool, on the other hand, always enters tapped. So for me, it hasn't really provided a lot of value. So I think I'm just going to trim the Glasspool Mimic, and I think for now I'm just going to move back to the second planes. Could be incorrect, but when we added Skyclave Apparition to the list, obviously I've got a bunch of pretty white intensive sideboard cards. Before I added Glasspool Mimic, I was running 2 forests, 2 islands, 2 plains, and the mana base had felt pretty smooth. When I brought Mimic in, I just trimmed a plane, so I think I'm just going to go back to that second planes. It might seem weird trimming an actual card, an actual spell to replace it with a basic planes, but at least half the time, Glasspool has been played as a land, and if that's the case, it's a pretty bad land in a lot of situations. So it definitely hasn't really won a game. I'm not exactly sure. I can't really even picture a scenario where it could just win a game. Maybe like if we have Vial on 3 and an opponent is trying to remove Soulherder or something, we can Vial in Glasspool and copy Soulherder, keep our value engine online. But I've literally never come across a situation like that. It seems like it could come up, right? You have Aether Vial, you have Eladamri's Call, opponent is trying to remove a Stonehorn or a Soulherder. You can call for a Glasspool, Vial it in, copy that creature. Since we do run some singletons, but it just hasn't really come up. So I'm sort of done with Glasspool Mimic for the time being. Sideboard's going to remain unchanged. The list that's shown in Cardboard Live on the left side of the screen should be current, except for that one change where I bring back in the second planes. So with that out of the way, I think I'm just going to go ahead and jump into a league. All right, just make sure we have the right deck. So we haven't had the most successful leagues in the last couple streams. Best result recently was a 4-1, I think maybe 3 weeks ago now, possibly 2 weeks ago, sort of losing track of time. but a number of 3-2s. I think we had maybe a 2-3 last week. Pretty sure we had a 2-3 last week, which is unfortunate. I'm pretty sure if I remember correctly, we got paired against Tron, and we won a pretty epic game 1, but then we got Troned out in games 2 and 3. Opponent mulliganed to 5 in game 2, and they had Tron without searching on turn 3 with 2 Karns and then an Oblivion Stone, so it's just like pretty unfortunate. This is a very nice opening hand. We'll keep this. The Stonehorn Dignitary is a little bit awkward, but nothing we can't handle. Opponent thinking about their 7 and keeping. So we'll start with Island into Aether Vial. Lately, I've only really been playing Magic during my streams. I haven't been grinding on off days at all. So I can't really say that I'm in the best shape, but I always do my best on stream and try to not make any unfortunate errors. Well, that was a pretty nice hit. Ramping with Coiling Oracle, though with the remaining snake in hand, we'd probably like to stop drawing lands at this point. Opponent has opened with Dark Slick Shores, going for Thought Scour on me, so I guess it's mill. Which, as we've seen in previous streams, is pretty favorable when we have the Gaia's Blessing in the sideboard. Am I going to get Archive Trapped now then? Let's see. Could also be Rogues, which we've seen pop up here and there. I guess Hallowed Fountain is probably appropriate in this situation. Welcome, everybody. I see a few of you have been trickling in. Okay, as I said, we would like to stop drawing lands, but we do have this Eladamri's Call. So, let's think. I could get the Coatl down now in case we draw something that we want to play. But that would really only be, I guess, like a Coiling Oracle. And we've got a call up here. We're gonna have a 4th land down, which will have 2 extra mana. I mean, it seems like Soulherder would probably be best here, or maybe even Thassa. But blue is representing counter magic, so I think I'll probably just play the Temple Garden tapped here. Although I'd like to thin the deck, so I'll play the Windswept Heath, and I think I'll just pass the turn. It's not too much really to think about it in this spot. I imagine they're going to flash something in here because otherwise, what are they doing? Thought Scouring me, apparently. There goes my Thassa. Okay. Not sure that was my top choice, but now it might have to be... Okay, Force and another call. Fair enough. That's always a line. Just to start generating value with Eternal Witness. Eternal Witness getting back Eladamri's Call. At this point now, we've got more choices in the graveyard. Alicia in the Discord was talking recently about Collected Company, which she's been testing out. She thinks that it's no better or worse than Eladamri's Call, which is interesting. All right, so some kind of Esper build. This is pretty curious. I guess this represents Kaya's Guile. I'll probably start with Icefang Coatl, see what it draws me. Petty Theft bouncing the Aether Vial. So it's some kind of just Esper tempo deck. I don't really care about this, and there's not a lot I can do about it, so that'll resolve. Let's put their exile zone off to the side over here. Okay, Oracle, and so I'll do like this. I mean, I think Uro's pretty hot in this situation, so I think I'll just get Uro. So opponent might be playing Path to Exile. So we'll put this down. We will pay life, and in the spot, I think just getting the Vial down is probably better. Could play another Snake, but Vial just cares about how much time it has on the board, so let's get it down now. We're still holding up Path in case the opponent wants to try to go for something like a Gurmag Angler or any other big threat they might play. These types of decks tend to play delve creatures like Gurmag Angler, Tassiger. Yeah, Collected Company is... well, saying it's less consistent is an understatement because it's just wildly less consistent. Typically, if you're running Collected Company, you're running Monodorks to help power it out ahead of turn 4. And if you're running Monodorks, then you risk hitting Monodorks with Collected Company. Although if you're playing Aether Vial, of course, instead of Dorks, then you're going to hit Aether Vial the same proportion of time if you're running 4 Aether Vials versus 4 Dorks. But in my own testing, in different types of decks, I just personally don't enjoy the variance involved in Collected Company. If you're going to run Collected Company, you really, really need to pack out your 3-drops. And so, like the Abzan Blink deck. Okay. Is this a Fairies deck? Is that what I'm playing against? Are they going to tap all of my lands? They don't have a Fairy to champion, though, so that wouldn't be happening. And also, I think that card is a 5-drop. So what is this? Okay, so they're drawing 4 cards. Fair enough, I don't have anything to do about that, but we're going to get an Uro onto the battlefield. And if they do run like Supreme Verdict, we're just going to keep recasting Uro over and over again. Well, that's a good one. It's not a huge, compelling reason to play the Coiling Oracle now, so I think I'm just going to pass and hold up Force of Negation. With 10 cards in hand, not exactly sure what I would be looking to counter here. I mean, they could try to land a Jace, trying to bounce Uro, something like that. In which case, obviously, Force is going to be pretty good. I have a 2-turn clock as things stand. I think I would probably try to fight over a Path to Exile here, though the opponent almost certainly has some counter magic in hand. Yeah, and this is another one to fight over, so we'll see how it goes. 8 cards in hand. What is the opponent going to choose to do here? Okay, well, we countered to Fairy, which always feels pretty good. All right, well, they can thought seize and add more fuel for future escapes. And then is this going to? I don't even know what the opponent wants to take here. We have a pretty stacked hand. Though who knows what they're doing? I mean, it could just not even run any creatures. In which case, well, Skyclave is solid. Obviously, could have dealt with the Teferi, but I would have preferred for the opponent not to bounce the Uro. And once Teferi hits the battlefield, then the counterspell in our hand obviously just gets significantly worse. Although all right, let's see. Okay, they take the Skyclave. We still have all 3 Eternal Witnesses in the deck. I'm a few seconds ahead of the opponent right now. Okay, so is this like a fatal push waiting to hit the Uro, in which case, why would they give me a chance to draw another Force of Negation? Yeah, Thoughtseize is supposed to be the first spell, but I think that the counter spell caught the opponent off guard. So here's going to be the fatal push, I'm sure. Yeah, right, I called that a mile away. Fair enough. I mean, it's just another thing we get to cast from the graveyard. We get to keep cracking in. The opponent life total is getting lower turn after turn, and that's a good draw for us. So call Misty. We have 2 forces. I've got to get 2 more cards out of here. I think leaving a force is fine. Thassa at this point is probably not essential. And then I guess I have another Skyclave as well, so I'll leave it like that. Okay. So, yeah, just pass the turn. Hey, McDurp, welcome to the stream. Happy to see you here. Playing against some random Esper deck running into the story. So opponent drew 4 cards on my upkeep. They are thought scouring me. They seem intent on facilitating multiple Uro escapes. I guess they must be running Drown in the Lock. Okay, no Cryptic Mana up. We've got Lethal on board, but I do quite like getting Watcher down. Don't know that I feel like putting the Ice Fang down. I mean, I don't know what I'm playing around, really, but I mean, it's possible we should just swarm the board here. Let's see if the opponent knows about responding to the Hideaway trigger. Though if they have removal, I have to imagine they're going after Uro, not after Watcher for tomorrow. We haven't seen any Ephemerates yet, nor have we seen any Eternal Witnesses. I'm at 24, opponent's at 7. This is going to resolve. And yeah, just a bunch of snakes. I guess Coatl is just best in this spot. Well, we know that they can flash in Brazen Borrower, but the only thing that it can block is... Yeah, I don't know that there's any reason to flash in the Coatl here. Just helps me rebuild if they do somehow deal with what I'm bringing. Okay, fair enough. Still a 2-turn clock. Just be patient. Opponent's in what appears to be an extremely difficult position. I mean, they're not lacking cards in their hand, but we've got Lethal on board. We're over 20 life. We're consistently escaping Uro. We've done it twice already. We're well on our way to doing it a third time. We are pretty far from being empty-handed. And the only win condition we've seen so far is Brazen Borrower. The name looks very familiar, Cave Dan. They're playing Glasspool Shore, which is funny. I just cut that from my deck today. One with access to 6 mana. Oh god, Felidar Guardian. Oh my god. Okay, all right. Well, we do have a path. I believe the opponent knows about that. Drown the lock, fair enough. Can flash in my Coatl here. Draw another path, but it doesn't. They're just going to. I mean, they're going to copy a Felidar and just keep blinking each other. It's not actually a combo, is it? Okay, so this is some kind of combo deck. Now I'm a little bit scared. I've got lethal around their creatures right now, but this represents a fatal push. Okay, and there it is. So no more lethal. Teferi, pretty good, I guess. Can bounce one of my creatures. So I attack in the air. I have to think that escaping Uro is better than casting Teferi here. I could even draw land and then just cast Teferi. Okay, so now we have Eternal Witness in response to any kind of combo craziness to get back Path to Exile. I'm gonna attack with the Watcher and see. I guess they kind of have to block, right? And then I can chill on flashing in the Coatl to see if I need to path instead. Okay. They also have a flying blocker in Brazen Borrower. 2 cards in hand. I mean, Call is nice because now I can go get Deputy and just get rid of both of the Felidars, I guess. Or I could just lead with Teferi and then just win if they don't have a response. Okay, opponent's just conceding. So we slipped slightly behind on time, but not even a minute difference. So pretty solid first game. The opponent did tip their hand that they're playing some kind of Felidar combo. I'm not familiar with Esper Felidar Guardian. What is the sort of infinite combo with Felidar Guardian in Esper? I don't even know what I'm playing against. Seems like graveyards. Oh well, opponent's graveyard is probably important. We didn't see any Snapcasters into the story. They care about my graveyard more than anything else. Veil of Summer, obviously, a slam dunk. Okay, so they're playing like rogues with Felidar Guardian. So I guess bringing in another path is probably okay. We don't know what black permanents they play at this point, so bringing in Purges seems premature. And Winds of Abandon, probably unnecessary. I guess Ashiok. I mean, it gets rid of their graveyard, but I'm not sure how much they're searching. We didn't see any artifacts or enchantments, so I don't know that Night is important. Bringing in the extra force is probably a good idea. And then, I mean, Stonehorn seems poor. Skyclave is good. I mean, these are going to be long games. I can trim 2 of the calls. Deputy seems sort of okay, but they're probably just playing like ETB creatures. So, are they trying to mill? I guess. Yeah, I guess that's all we can guess, right? So, Gaia's Blessing in, kind of weird. And if they're trying to mill, we might just want to keep 63 cards in the deck. Oh my god, what a strange round 1. Yeah, I mean, I'm not that bummed to go into game 2 with 63 cards. Let's do it. Let's see how it goes. We'll see if they have any artifacts or enchantments. We can keep our eye on whether we want to bring in Knight of Autumn or not. That's a really nice hand if it had Ether Vial instead of one of the spells. But it doesn't. These hands are so tempting. I'm going to have 2 draws to hit a second land, start drawing so many cards, but, you know, we can't be so loose. This is better. So I think with double Coiling Oracle, I can afford to bottom one of the lands. And since they're not coming after my life total, I guess Hallowed Fountain's probably just strictly better than the island. We would like to have 2 blue sources to get Ashiok going, so maybe just like Breeding Pool on turn 1. Thassa's an awkward one. We're looking for cheap creatures and okay. So yeah, good call. Thank you for the heads up about Gaia's Blessing. Flash. I mean, why play it now? Oh, because they're going to attack and they're going to mill me. Sure enough. All right, so it's kind of like aggro mill. It's the rogues deck. We didn't really get a full picture in game one. And I'm not really sure, again, like how important Ashiok is. And now we do know that Celestial Purge is actually going to be pretty awesome, as well as Winds of Abandon. So they're not only trying to mill me, they're also trying to just kill me. So mill me and kill me. As soon as I get another card in my graveyard, I think this dude's going to all the rogues are going to actually get buffed. But if this guy attacks, oh my god, he's going to get pretty big too. But we do have force here, which is kind of nice. Could potentially, if they try to cast a non-creature spell, we're just kind of worried about our life total. And honestly, I should have sort of seen the writing on the wall with the black permanents and brought in Celestial Purge, but I did not. So the thing is, if I block now, they're representing flashing in a rogue, which would mill me and grow these guys. Actually, it's just going to mill me anyway right now. So they are going to grow anyway. Jesus, this is a lot of damage here, huh? So I think we're kind of just treading water, trying not to die to their attacks for the time being. So do I take 6, play Ashiok? I mean, they don't even have a graveyard, so bringing in Ashiok seems like it was just a bad call. Super far from getting Thassa online. This is the most aggro start that this deck can have. I took out Stonehorn. One path to exile is in the graveyard. I don't think it's quite time to block yet. So now that we know what we're playing against, we could sideboard much more effectively. Plague Engineer, huh? Okay. Probably didn't need to play that, but just definitely another reason to bring in Celestial Purge. So I think we might just be out of this one, guys. Very strong game by Mr. Cave Dan. I think I'll actually take out the Forces of Negation as well. It looked like a much more of a spell-based deck in game one. But cutting the forces will actually make a lot of space in the deck. I mulliganed in this game, so. And we were on the draw. All right, so let's take those forces out. Worship seems like a nice out against their aggro plan. And of course, Stonehorn is a reasonable card to have in as well. Auriok Champion counters their well, it just blocks. It just blocks that black 1-drop. It also gains a bunch of life, so then we can bring in more removal. Just not so sure how important the Eladamri's calls are here. So I just took out 4 cards, and I thought I brought in 6. I don't know why I'm at 65 here. Oh, because I started with 63, of course. So do I want to trim down, or am I sort of fine just running extra cards? I'm not in love with the Deputy here because all of their creatures are ETB, so if they kill Deputy, then they just get like new ETB triggers. So I can just lean on the extra removal that I brought in. Ashiok is obviously going to come out. Actually, not even so sure how important Teferi is. It can bounce one of their creatures, but then they get more ETBs. And though they do try to play at instant speed in general, it's not really a counterspell deck so much, apart from Drown. But Drown is going to be used more as removal, I think, in most situations. So Teferi can get trimmed. And I think 61 cards is probably fine. You know what? I'll keep Teferi in just as like a 60-second card. I think that's fine. Two extra cards doesn't, put so much extra strain on the mana base. 62 versus 60. Just tiny difference, but we still have a couple Eladamri's calls in the deck. So 5 lands, Skyclave Apparition. This is not a good start for us. So I think I have to mulligan. This is better. It's got removal, but it is rather slow. I think I have to keep it, though. Opponent's starting with 7. They're going to mill us, so Eternal Witness is very valuable. Of course, Thoughtseize hits us pretty hard. But, I mean, Worship is... It's a singular effect in the deck, so I think with Path in hand, I can afford to bottom the Skyclave Apparition. Although, yeah, I might not even have double white for a while, so I'll just say done on that. And we're going to plan on getting a Temple Garden here. So snakes would be good. Skyclave is just awkward. So if we don't hit a land next turn, things are going to get pretty awkward pretty quickly. We just bottomed a Skyclave and drew another one. Okay, Thought Scouring me and hitting 2 lands. Ugh, it's nasty. Come on, deck. Oh man, I'm dumb. I'm gonna get punished right now by Drowned in the Loch. I was thinking I don't want to ramp them, but alright, we got away with it. Treading a pretty fine line right now, unable to cast anything. Each turn we go without hitting a land drop, just our chances of having any hope in this game and this match just dwindle very, very quickly. All right. The fairy can just bounce that. Pretty poor. Fair enough. No, it's not the aggro start, at least not yet. So hopefully the Gaia's Blessing can get us somewhere. Give us a little bit of time. But if they flash in, like a Brazen Borrower, start beating down, they could actually use Petty Theft to bounce Ether Vial. They could just counter it right now with a Drown in the Loch. Okay. So how unlucky. The opponent Thought Scoured us and hit the 2 lands on the top of the deck. If they're sitting on more Drown in the Lochs, geez. some good mills right there, but at least they didn't hit any lands. Okay. Can't cast Skyclave Apparition. We can cast Teferi and just try to draw a card. Seems like they could be holding up Counter Magic. Could also just play Eternal Witness, try to get back a land. But if we're trying to lure out counter spells, I feel like Teferi is the less important card than Eternal Witness. So I think I'm going to lead with Teferi. See what the opponent's working with. Maybe they just have another one of these guys to flash in. I think I'm still going to just bounce. Okay, this works. I'm just going to bounce this guy. I don't care if he just dies next turn. Although, hang on a second. Opponent now can't cast anything. So maybe I just let them throw their attacks at Teferi for a little while, rather than just letting Teferi die. It's possible the opponent has spells to play and just forgot to flash in a creature. I know I've done that before in the past. But yeah, keeping Teferi around just seems like probably the smart play here. We finally found a third land there. And now, of course, assuming Teferi lives until my next turn, I could Eternal Witness for another land. Then we have Ephemerate up, and we, are starting to dig our way out. So the opponent may have had this in hand and misplayed last turn when I cast Teferi. I guess we'll see what other spells they have and what they do with their scry. Thinking a lot about their scry. They went top bottom. Played a land, 4 cards left in hand. Remember, they went top, so if they crack this, then their scry goes away. Teferi is an answer to my worship. Sort of have to keep that in mind. Felidar Guardian. Maybe blinking Teferi to draw a card. Okay, well, blinking that to, draw a card and scry, I guess. So if we draw white mana, we can Skyclave the Felidar Guardian. Giving them a 4/4 isn't the best, but they went top here. They're attacking Teferi. They hit an Uro. Or they milled an Uro. Oh, that's true. I can't hold Ephemerate up until I deal with Teferi. I think you guys were right that Felidar is probably like just the mill plan. Like if they get 2 Felidars, they get to keep blinking the Felidars back and forth and just mill me out. They're extracting Uro, which is hopefully just 1 fewer surgical extractions that they have for Gaia's Blessing. We only have 2 Uros in the deck. They're not by any means strictly necessary. Opponent does know my entire hand at this point, so I'll put the worship over here as like a bookmark, and I'll keep all of the unknown cards on the other side. Opponent's taking a little bit of time to look at my library, but letting some time run. Okay, we hit that land. Nice. So I think it's probably in our best interest here to... Well, let me start by ticking Teferi up, I think. I think I want to Skyclave Teferi and then sort of chill, basically. All right. So we know the opponent is playing Surgical Extraction, and if they have the second Felidar, they need the 1-drop to combo with the ETB to mill me out, but I do have the Gaia's Blessing, so they would need a couple of specific cards in hand, Surgical and another Felidar and the 1-drop to actually try for the mill plan. But here we're going to be able to cast Eternal Witness, Path to Exile. I guess the Felidar, because it's a combo piece, but maybe I care more just about protecting Teferi. Like, I can block the Felidar, and then Teferi will take 2 next turn. I path this thing, and now I can just keep blocking the Felidar Guardian. Of course, if I get down Worship, then Gaia's Blessing covers the mill plan, and Worship covers the beatdown plan. Opponent with 3 cards in hand. Okay. They bounce the Felidar. We are equal on time now. I'm actually a little bit ahead. White land would be nice. Let's see. I'm assuming they're going to... Well, let's see what they bounce here, if they bounce anything. They drew a card off of... Okay, they're going to get a 3/3. I mean, we've got Worship, so I'm not really that worried. I do have to play on my turn, though, since Teferi's on the battlefield. I think I just want to just hit Teferi again. Got to use my time well here. Eternal Witness, getting back a path something now, like the 3/3. I have Eternal Witness to block, but it's not a good block. I think I just want to get rid of the Teferi. I think I took Deputy out, actually, for reasons. So I'm going to have to fight to clean up these illusions, but as long as I can get Worship down, we should be okay. Need to be a little careful with my clock. But I am slightly ahead. I just need to not take forever, basically. The opponent still knows about these 4 cards. Snapcaster Mage getting Drown in the Lock to kill the Skyclave Apparition and just go aggro, I guess. And it doesn't look great, guys. Opponent, we got really stuck on lands, and opponent apparently has 5 mana to use. So now I think it's just Eternal Witness, get back path, just defend ourselves, hold up path, hold up Ephemerate. I mean, they could drown the Eternal Witness, but, you know, there's not too many options here. Opponent did shock for this Hallowed Fountain. Witness back Herder. But I can't cast Herder here. Right? If I cast this. So Thought Scouring me. Omen is fine, and now 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. I don't really care yet to path something. They're scrying now. They went top bottom. Just gonna pass. I know. I have an Ephemerate to protect the Eternal Witness. I have an Auriok champion that I can get down that dodges almost all of their removal. Yeah, so Winds of Abandon is in the graveyard. I'm just going to try to hit one of these, or two of these illusions, I think, right now. Just stem the beats for like a turn or two. Give myself a little bit of time to get down some more creatures. I'd prefer to not use the Ephemerate at any rate here for a little bit. All right, so I'm taking 5. Opponent with 4 cards in hand. If they have a Drown, they already have 1 Drown in the exile. Snapcaster going for Surgical, getting rid of Path, I imagine. Ephemerate. They know that I have an Ephemerate in hand, so smart choice. If I had held up Ephemerate, I could have cast it in response to them, and then one of them would have been exiled, but that's not what I chose to do. White land gives me Auriok plus Worship. They went top bottom. They passed, and it's 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So they have exact lethal on the board. Not sure. I think this thing is a 2/4. What is buffing this thing? The rogue? The fact that it's like a rogue? Oh yeah, I guess shapeshifter rogue. Interesting. If I play Auriok, it doesn't help with blocks very much. Opponent has 3 mana up. They can counter whatever I play if they have it. And we just have to kind of hope that they don't have removal for the Eternal Witness if I go for Worship. Could also just go like Oracle plus Auriok, try to gain a touch of life. That seems slightly more robust, though I'm going to do it that way. Okay, I think the opponent does have the Drown in hand. Okay, we're getting spell snared. Looks like I have to block here. I'm going to block with Eternal Witness. Because their removal makes it really hard for them to kill Auriok Champion. So if they have the Drown in hand, then I'm wrecked. And good games. It was actually a good game. So rough. So rough. Okay. I'll say good games to the opponent. Good luck with the rest. They had a lot of time to prepare for that worship. Okay, I mean, I think it was basically just being backed up all game. They had two rather good surgical extractions. Not really sure that I should have used both paths. I could have afforded to take a little bit more damage, but the way I was choosing to play it was basically exactly what you see. If I had taken more damage from one of those illusions that was attacking in order to keep the Ephemerate in hand in response to them surgicaling. Now, I mean, they knew that I had the Ephemerate, so if I had mana up, they wouldn't go for the surgical. So kill their illusions, maintain my life total for a minute, get Auriok Champion down, and then get the worship down. Just unfortunate that the opponent had, I mean, they had a lot of scries, so they knew that they had to play around worship, and so they had a counterspell in hand. It was a taxing counterspell, Mystical Dispute, and if I was hitting my land drops this game, I might have been able to pay for it, but sometimes things don't go our way. Three undefeated trophies for Cave Dan. Pretty nice. I feel like that has to be a somewhat favorable matchup for us. I think we just got jammed up in game 3. Game 2, somehow they were extremely aggressive. You don't really expect that deck to come out just throwing like tons and tons of damage at you in the first couple turns, but I guess that's one of the angles of attack that makes it a little bit, well, not more potent than Mill, but more versatile than Mill. Well, this is a fun hand. Is Eldrazi Tron or something here? Thoughtseize? All right, well, I imagine Teferi will get snatched. Or not. Interesting. Well, there's white mana right on time. Is this just Jund? Looks like it. So I think I'd like to crack this and go get like an island. I'm going to have basics enough as the game goes on. I could also play it, get like a Hallowed Fountain, do Eladamri's Call, and then play white and either play Teferi or just Eladamri's Call for Skyclave Apparition to kill a Liliana that might come down next turn, but I don't know how important Liliana is here, and with 2 Coatls, we might be able to just keep this Tarmogoyf under control, so I think starting off with Coatls rather than Eladamri's Call is probably better, and if they don't get my Teferi out of hand, then I can just untap, play Teferi. So yeah, that's the plan. Basic island into Icefang Coatl. Okay. Opponent's got Terminator up, Fatal Push up, Kolaghan's Command. It seems like they're pretty F6'd though. And with Ephemerate, I might just want to... Actually, Ether Vial is kind of a cool draw. But if it is Kolaghan's Command, maybe I just get down to Fairy, just bounce this Tarmogoyf. I think that seems pretty great. I should have maybe attacked first, so don't like lure out like a Lightning Bolt or something, but... Well, now the opponent can't use any of that 3 mana. I'm not sure what their plans were there, but... I mean, we've only seen Tarmogoyf, Thoughtseize. I mean, it looks like Jund, but double basic Swamp is a little bit questionable. Okay, 2 damage, and I discard something. So I think at this point, the Ether Vial is probably the fine pitch. Next turn, we can just Eternal Witness back the Coiling Oracle, hold up Ephemerate, something like that. Or just get back to Fairy, which seems pretty awesome. Opponent probably wanted to Kolaghan's Command on my turn, but people misplay around Teferi all the time. And I said earlier that I've done it myself. Thassa is actually pretty bomb. Maybe I just want to get Thassa down. Jeez. Pretty hard for Jund to fight through that. They also missed their 4th land drop. Another Ether Vial. Okay, Bloodbraid Elf is a thing. Inquisition almost certainly going to take away my Eternal Witness, but we're doing okay. I think I'm fine just not blocking here. Yeah, no blocks. I can call for Soulherder, but then double blinks doesn't really do anything yet. So I think I'm probably going to main phase Coatl, hold up Ephemerate plus Eladamri's Call. Okay, that's a good draw. Yikes. Opponents could have pathed in response to Ephemerate, but I'm thinking they don't have a path. I kind of want to just kill Renin 6 with these 2 Coatls. But I have another Ephemerate. I can just... Renin 6 not really doing anything, so of course I'd rather draw a card off Ephemerate. Could also call for another Snake to flash in right now, but probably not the best use of the call. Jeez, running hallowed fountains. So, call for Eternal Witness, getting back Ephemerate, and just kill them with Ephemerate value. I mean, as always, Uro is also sensational in this matchup, but this is probably just going to be better, I think. All right. And, I mean, probably better just to blink Eternal Witness here. Getting back... I mean, probably just Eternal Witness. All right. So how's everybody doing in chat today? I've been focused here. I guess I didn't say welcome to Bison. Good to see you. Opponent going for the Ephemerate, and of course I'll go for, going for Eternal Witness. I'll go for the Ephemerate. Let's see if they get surprised again. Okay, so they're pushing, which, you know, makes sense, but they know that I have another Eternal Witness in hand, so... Renin 6 down, 4 mana left for the opponent. We are 2 devotion away from getting Thassa online. Both players at 12 life. Another Bloodbraid Elf. Ugh, alright, fine. Eternal Witness to the graveyard means we only have 1 Eternal Witness left in the deck. And I think I'm fine just trading one of these Coatls at this point. I want to protect my life total. We have Ephemerate to protect the remaining snake. Yeah, paintball. I myself have not been playing a ton of Magic Online lately. I just keep up these streams. Mostly because I know you guys like it, and of course I have fun doing it, but you know, it's like a responsibility at this point. I feel like I keep drawing lands here. So I'm just going to play the Misty, thin the deck out a little bit. I guess I'll play this Aether Vial at this point. No reason not to. Oh, I can also use Thassa to start tapping down things like Bloodbraid Elves. I think I may have missed that last turn, but I think I used my mana last turn. Thassa just doing what she does here so well. Not dying to removal. I guess I could have cracked that to thin before I drew, but actually had a really nice draw there. Tarmogoyf as a 6/7. It's pretty beefy. Okay. So we can cast and escape Uro next turn, I believe. So I kind of want to just take advantage of some card draw here off of the Icefang Coatl. Although I should thin first at this point. Oh, green, white, blue, green. We need another blue, I think. Green, white, blue. Yeah, we need more blue for sure. Okay. Maybe I'll keep that one in hand for now. Opponent down to 2 cards. We have been flooding out a little bit. I think I just untapped again without using my extra mana to tap down one of their creatures. I'm so bad at that, but at least I'm recognizing that I'm missing it. Like the first step to correcting that behavior. So if we go 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, we are going to want to shock, I think, in this position. So now we can escape and hold up Ephemerate. Let's see what we hit off of the Uro. We see that the opponent pitched a Croxa, which is pretty strange. I guess I play this in shock. Then I'm holding up Ephemerate and another Coatl. Yeah, I guess so. So we just ramped pretty hard that turn. Now it's actually Coatl plus Ephemerate. And we get to blink, so that's nice. Okay, all right. Well, this hand is looking very, very good. Opponent's getting a little aggressive, but shouldn't be anything we can't handle. With all this mana, we should be able to, at the very least, start tapping down any big threats. We've also got Uro that just outclasses Tarmogoyf right now. Opponent, Kolaghan's Command, return it and deal 2 damage to my snake. Okay, well, we were saying earlier that we had Ephemerate up, so that resolves. We'll get to continue drawing cards. Force of Negation can just counter this at this point, which seems pretty good to me. Just keep them off that Bloodbraid Elf. Well, at this point, it's just, do I want to pitch an Ice Fang to keep them off a Bloodbraid? And I guess the answer is yes. Yeah, I think so. Force isn't going to do too much better, I don't think. Okay, well, we have another Ephemerate, so this is just fine. If I can just play a little bit faster. Opponent has no attacks here. And we've got Aether Vial coming online next turn. 800 million mana. Drawing cards left and right. I think maybe all 4 Ephemerates are going to be in the graveyard here now. 1, 2, yep, I think so. That's a good one. All right, so first things first, we just want to keep the opponent off of any kind of resources. They do have a Croxa in the graveyard, doesn't really hurt us very much. We've got a path ready. I think I just want to attack them, I guess. Got all the basics but 1 basic plane still left in the deck. Okay, that's fine. Got like an infinite number of 2-drops in our hand. Okay. Maybe I should have thinned my deck before I did that. What kind of lands do I have left? Just the plains, and I don't think I have any more shocks, so I'm just going to leave this Windswept Heath uncracked. Thassa is 1 devotion away. I can flash in and surprise the opponent. So let's just go to our end step. Blink Ice Fang at this point. Yeah, I guess I could have seen this coming. So Thassa's still going to be alive, though, because I can flash in and violin. Okay, let's see how this goes. Fatal Push. I don't think anything that they had left the battlefield this turn. So, okay, now Thassa's not going to be alive, which is a little bit frustrating, but we're still in a fine position here. Can actually just tap down their creatures, unless I just want to eat something. I should definitely tap down. Let's see. Might as well. I'm going to save the path for Kroxa, I think. Let's start like this. Now, go to attacks, block. So I just tap down. Let's see, I got 2, and then can't get mana off of this, though. So I'm fine just letting them go to attacks here. I'll take 3, and that's just fine. Kind of weird. Well, if I can get enough devotion down for... Yeah, opponent's just scooping. This is kind of strange. It's a weird attack. If I didn't block there, I would have been able to very easily turn Thassa into a creature. But as things went... Anyhow, that was a long game. I'm a little bit behind on clock, but pretty favorable matchup in general. Particularly post-board, we're pretty good. I do like all these things. I don't really like Ether Gust. It's not really a tempo kind of matchup. Ashiok is amazing. And you know what? The last time I played against Jund on stream, I got Ashioked out of a really good hand. Like, I just was unable to fetch. Opponent got me early with an Ashiok. Can trim these forces. They're not amazing. I think Stonehorn is actually fine in the matchup. I don't think we need Knight. Five cards to trim. I can trim a couple of calls. I think I like Soulherder well enough. I'll trim a couple of Ether Vials. Could trim a land on the draw, but I don't think that's optimal here. I mean, maybe Stonehorn is the cut. If they get like super aggro, don't know that Stonehorn is going to save me. We've got a bunch of removal. Oh, opponent's just scooping. I guess they're bored. They just feel like they can't win or something. Maybe they have to go to the bathroom. Who knows? Kind of weird. Was looking forward to game 2. So we're 1-1 for the league so far, going into round 3. I'm Hayashi with a clear lead at the top of the table, as usual. Love to do an interview with this guy sometime. Just find out how much Magic he plays on an average day. Phil Schwifty, if you're just joining me, that was just Jund, regular old Jund. we were outvaluing them the whole game. They had some big creatures, like they had a couple of Bloodbraid Elves and a big Tarmogoyf, a couple of Run-in 6s, but nothing was ever a real threat. We had like Path when we needed it. Thassa got down pretty early and was able to sort of tap down some creatures, and also just obviously generate tons and tons of card advantage. Round 1, we lost to the very interesting Rogue's Mill deck, I guess. This guy looks like he knows what he's doing. He's got an inverter avatar, pretty fancy gold or avatar here. I mean, we've got 2 lands and a snake, which is pretty good. Double Force is interesting, but only good in certain matchups. We are in the draw. Doesn't have Ether Vial. Eladamri's Call, not that great without Ether Vial. I mean, imagine we mulligan to 6 and we found the first 6 cards right here. I feel like we'd probably have to keep it. So I think we're going to keep it. If it's like an aggressive deck with Lava Dart, Force will be okay and buy us some time until we can get Stonehorn down. But lands and snakes are some of the most important things to have in an opening hand. Obviously, like Ether Vial off the top would be sensational. More snakes, a 3rd land would be fine. I mean, there's a lot of good draws. Basically, we just kind of want to fade 3 drops right now. Land or 2 drops or Ether Vial. I mean, Thassa would be pretty stupid right here also. So this is going to be some form of the Oops all spells deck, whether it's Charbelcher or just Balustrade Spy. And if it's Balustrade Spy, we pretty much just lose, I think. We don't really have robust Graveyard Hate in our sideboard. Huh. So this is just ramping, right? I mean, I don't know if they're on Charbelcher or the other dude, Balustrade Spy. If they're on Charbelcher, then obviously I want to hold the Force for Charbelcher. If they're on Balustrade Spy, then I don't want to give them the fixing that they need to cast it. So I feel like I kind of need to feel like I kind of need to counter this. They're on a mulligan and they need black mana if they're on Balustrade Spy. So this might be my only opportunity to get rid of this. And if it is Charbelcher, then we are a Force deck, so we should be in a decent position. So just hope that they don't have black mana, I guess. It's a pretty tenuous plan. I mean, ramp, I guess. I don't know. I don't even know what I want to draw, honestly. Like, Ephemerate's an amazing card. All right, I think I made the right choice. So we're going to want to hold up Ephemerate and Eladamri's Call. We still would like to thin the deck, I think. So get green. We can call plus Ephemerate. Not really even sure what I want to call for. I mean, obviously, like, Venser would be amazing and would just win the game, but I don't have Venser. So if we assume that they're on Charbelcher, which is the only thing that I can do anything against, maybe I'll just call for, like, Skyclave Apparition. I don't even know, guys. It's a 17-turn clock right now with this Coiling Oracle. white. Super interesting. I mean, just getting like a body would be good. So maybe just Uro and just start attacking, or because at this rate, like it can't give them 17 turns. Maybe Soulherder to just try to get Swole quickly, but that's still pretty slow. And if I get Uro, I can just ramp next turn, even just Ephemerate. Well, let's see. I think Uro's probably fine here. Force is pretty good. It's one of our interactive spells. Currently don't have a blue card in hand to pitch, though. Okay. Well. I guess I can cast Uro and hold up Call, but then I don't have Force up unless I magically draw a blue card right now. But if they play Charbelcher, I have they can't activate it. I can just untap and Skyclave. So I feel fine just Uroing here. Oh. Well, I tapped my lands weird, so now I can't call, which is pretty bad. My bad, guys. I should have tapped this instead of the Temple Garden so that I had call up. That was a little bit hasty, but on the bright side, I do have Force up at this point. So we'll pass the turn. Well, that was kind of a punt. They do have black mana now, so I think we're probably just dead to Balustrade Spy. Now, did they kill me with attacks, right? So I can just, can't I just play Stonehorn Dignity? No, I think they kill me with attacks. So let me play Stonehorn here. I think that's, I mean, I know they're going to hit me with some helixes and stuff, or whatever that other card is called that I can't, Creeping Chill, my least favorite Magic card. All right, let's see how this goes. So here he is. I've been preparing for this. Just gonna flip their whole business here, and let's see what they hit. Look at the cards. I mean, whatever. Let's just see what happens. All right, so they have one card left in their deck. Yeah, they're going after Vengevine here, basically, right? So, like Sword of the Meek, trying to attack me. So I think Stonehorn was probably pretty good here. And we've got the Ephemerate, so we can get at least another 2 attacks blanked, and we'll see if we can just win, I guess. When they draw their, okay, yeah, okay. So that's going back to their hand. And they get to cast that with some alternative casting cost, right? They get to like exile stuff from their graveyard. Hey, Mistaken. just want to check how I forget all this stuff. So discard 3 cards, return it to their hand. Okay, all right, you got it. Uh-huh. Uh-huh. Exile 3 artifacts, return it to your hand. Uh-huh. Are they just losing to getting decked out? Am I reading this correctly? Paying life, thought seizing me. So, I guess I just ephemerate now, or I just force the thought seize. I don't think this matters. I mean, yeah, okay, all right. So now 2 attacks in the bag. And, I mean, yeah, I'm just gonna let this resolve, I guess. I can call for Soulherder, which is pretty nice. So then maybe they take call, I guess. They didn't take call. What did they even take? Skyclave Apparition, that's a weird take. I think the opponent is scooping. Is that what's happening here? All right. So I guess we know how to beat this deck now. Just get Stonehorn out as soon as possible. I'm glad I remembered that, because I was getting all ready to cast Uro from the graveyard. Big brain over here. I guess Worship is probably pretty good. Ashiok is too slow. They don't play spells that I care about, so Forces come out. And the spot removal is pretty bad as well. I mean, Auriok Champion, if it's on the battlefield, gains a bunch of life when all that stuff enters the battlefield, so it negates like 2 of their attacks. I guess Veil protects us against Thoughtseize, so that's something. Ceremonious would counter their ramp, so that seems sort of okay. But then, do we just want to keep Force in? And Ceremonious is tighter, right? Because all of their non-creatures are basically that matter are colorless, right? They're artifacts. Thassa is certainly too slow for the matchup. I think Uro is probably too slow as well. Call is sick here because we just want to get Stonehorn. So we're just hoping that the opponent just, like Skyclaves can blow up their ramp, Deputy can blow up their ramp. I guess Knight can blow up their ramp. Like, probably better than Teferi. Teferi's kind of weird. Nah, no, because they flipped their... I don't know. They flipped their whole deck. That's what happened. I'm going to submit like this. They flip their whole deck, and if we get to untap, I mean, the only reason we're going to get to untap is if we have Stonehorn on the board or Worship, and we're just protecting it. Like, and if that's the case, then we don't care about their creatures. So it's either like A, we're not going to get an opportunity to cast Winds, or B, like Winds just doesn't really matter at all. Ceremonious Rejection with 2 Ether Vials. I really like the Ether Vials. The opponent kept 7. But the fact that we only have green mana is poor. But we do have a call to go get the one card that we really care about. And this is just a very, very bad matchup. So maybe we get to Ether Vial on 3 and we can Vial in Deputy to take away all of their Vengevines when they come back, something like that. Maybe live one more turn. I think this is a hand I'm going to have to gamble on. I'm going to keep it. Because there's really no slam dunk cards like in our opening hand that we can... Oh, Simian Spirit Guide, huh? All right. Wow, that's pretty fast. That means they can cast their Balustrade Spy next turn? Huh. Okay, I guess we're just gonna get wrecked here. Uh-huh. Did they keep the one lander with Pentad Prism? They did. Okay, I kept a one lander as well, but we're just dead to any land off the top of their deck. Blah. Okay, well this is not going amazingly well, but as soon as we draw a white land and we keep... Oh, my, there we go, we're dead. Oh wait, no, we can still kill this thing. I didn't take out my Path to Exiles, did I? I still have 3 Path to Exiles. So if I can kill this thing before they untap, we have a shot, I guess. Huh. I don't have white mana, so it's just not going to happen, I guess. Oh, no, they have the extra mana, my bad. This is a 3-drop. So as long as they have 4 mana, either of their creatures just wins the game. So that was really impressive, honestly. If I was on the play and I had blue mana, I think Ceremonious Rejection is actually a really good call. So just make them go through some of these motions, see if I can learn anything. So basically, Narcomoebas trigger, they enter the battlefield and they trigger the swords, and then the swords let them sack the swords to return the crazy artifact salvage titan guy to their hand, and then so now they sack the 3 swords, and that lets them cast this guy. It's the second creature that they cast this turn, since they cast the Undercity Informer, and now we die to all the Vengevites. Okay, very cool. Turn 3'd. It's kind of what this deck is looking to do. We got very, very lucky in game 1 that they were they had a very slow mulligan to 6, and we countered their ramp, which kept them not just off of ramp but off of black mana for like 2 or 3 or 4 turns. So maybe some number of forces is actually good against this deck, even though, I mean, they just buy me a whole turn, right? So maybe like Uro doesn't matter, right? Because we're just grinding and we don't really need beaters. We don't need life gain. So anything that stops what they're doing, I guess. Force seems good, and then Stonehorn and Worship seem good. And I can trim basically anything. Like, I guess the things that blow up their ramp seem fine. It's not going to be a long game, so Eternal Witnesses are actually probably pretty poor, right? The Eladamri's calls are all trying to grab Stonehorn in the first couple of turns. And, I mean, Eternal Witness is one of the ways to get, like, an Ephemerate loop going, so maybe I should keep 2 of them in and just trim, like, maybe one of the snakes or something. Maybe we'll... Maybe Watcher? I don't know. Watcher is sketchy because it doesn't draw us the card right away. So something like a Force and a Vial and a land or 2. I haven't seen this deck in a long while, I don't think. Well, so this is interesting. I kept these paths. Now the thing is, paths are bad, and I should have taken them out. I'm not really thinking super clearly during my sideboarding. We've got a Veil if they try to turn 1 Thoughtseize us. We don't have any creatures, but we can call for Stonehorn, as I've said. But I don't really know that this hand does what we want it to do. If they have exactly Thoughtseize turn 1, then I guess the hand is okay. But I think I'm going to mulligan this. This is better. This is better, because countering like turn 1 ramp, especially if they cast it off of a Simian Spirit Guide, that's going to be pretty good. So I think this is enough as far as counterspells go. So we're going to keep, and we're going to bottom the force. And we'll say done, like that. And I'll just go like green. Well, we'll see what they do on turn 1, and that will determine my fetch. Opponent mulligan to 5. Now, obviously, we don't have any access to Worship or Stonehorn yet. We're going to really hope to draw into either a call or just into Stonehorn or Worship. So yeah, let's open with the Misty Rainforest. Opponent went down to 5. No land, I guess. That's kind of weird. We don't have a 2-drop right now. I think just getting like a Hallowed Fountain is fine. We should have a window to play this Canopy Vista untapped. I mean, sorry, tapped, like right here. Ephemerate, sort of okay, but it's not one of those cards that I just mentioned. Opponent trying to find a land. Maybe they have a couple of Simian Spirit Guides in hand. All right, so they found something. Well, they found a lantern. That's pretty clutch. Okay, we just counter that. That's the plan, and now we've got Eternal Witness getting back Ceremonious Rejection. And we just kind of hope that this is going to be enough and that we eventually draw into one of the cards that we need. So they didn't have a land on turn 1. It's possible they don't have a land now, since they probably just top decked this one. I don't think... Let's see how this goes. Simian Spirit Guide for Pentad Prism. Okay. Well, they still need to draw another land. Ugh. Don't know how important like playing the Coatl out now is. If I hit a land, I can play a land, but if I don't think I'll have to cast 2 counterspells next turn. So I think I probably should cast the Coatl now in case I draw a land. Okay, that's one of those pieces that we're looking for, but it's really hard when all your opponent needs to do is just draw a land. So I'm going to, we just want a land here. So I think I'm just ephemerating Eternal Witness to get back the land. So now Stonehorn off the top would be the best, but we do have one more turn. Well, anyhow, I don't know that I don't even know what I'm saying right now. I'm saying if we get another turn, we get to cast Eladamri's Call this turn to get Stonehorn. Now, I don't think that this attack matters, but it might save me some amount of life, plus the path, plus something else, plus the ephemerate. I guess I can attack. Yeah, just for the 1, it's fine. I've got the ephemerate up, so sort of see how this goes. If we don't die on this turn, I think we should be just totally fine. Okay, though it looks like we're dying, guys. Ugh. Pretty frustrating. I don't think there's anything I can do here. They can just activate this. But we should be able to stop some of their attacks. So they just top decked a land that turn. They needed to do it that turn, otherwise we were going to win. Now I don't know. Now I think we're probably just toast. Yeah, because we're getting hit with all of these creeping chills, right? 3 creeping chills. I need to be able to crack my Windswept Heath. So can we not take 7 damage? King Magic, I think we have 16 coming from Vengevines. I don't know if you're quite aware of that, but we can block and path. But I think we're just dead. We take 8, right? Oh, no. If I Ephemerate, I can block 2 of them. Right, yeah, which means I just... Oh, and then I path. So block 2, kill 1. All right, so maybe we can get out of it. Yep. I think you've got the right idea. But I shouldn't have attacked. But because I need the Eternal Witness around. Oh, no, wait. Maybe I don't. So, yeah. This is going to be white. I can go green-white. I can path, Ephemerate. So, yeah, I think that's the idea. I think they just get decked. Yeah. What a strange matchup. That was a funny draw. I think they're just dead anyway, but maybe there's some trick where they can put a card on top of the deck. Do you guys know? Can they put something on top of the deck somehow? There's only one of you guys watching. This is so interesting. Where did you all go? So, what did they have that could possibly get put back on top of the deck? I know that Saffron Olive ran a version of this that did put some cards on top of the deck, I think. If I'm not mistaken. Anyhow, I guess the more streamlined versions don't do anything like that. I'm sorry, Jackie Chen. What are you saying? Nothing that is so counterproductive? Oh, you're saying they don't play anything. It's counterproductive to their plan. Yeah, and I mean, I guess that makes a lot of sense for sure. Um, so what the deck is planning on doing, I guess, is they attack. They still have one card on top of the deck, right? And they deal a whole bunch of damage. And if they don't kill the opponent right away, they should still get to untap and attack one more time. But we just happened to stop the second attack, and that was enough, I guess. Not sure why the opponent then stuck through it since they knew that they were going to deck. It seemed like the opponent was playing to some kind of out. I'm not exactly sure why they were still in the game. Okay, all right. So 2-1 so far. Pretty happy with that one. So he beat Jund and Oops All Spells. And actually, that was a pretty enlightening round against them. I sort of know the strategy now a little bit better. It seems like countering their ramp where possible is awesome, and just calling in the first couple of turns for Stoneheart Dignitary is pretty much a hard counter to their plan, as long as we can withstand their first attack. And so for us, attacking is probably pretty stupid. Like if I didn't attack with the snake that time, I wouldn't have had to ephemerate it to get it as a blocker. I could have actually I could have blocked with 2 and then kept one of my creatures around. I'm not sure how relevant that was, but typically we do want Eternal Witness alive on the battlefield. Yeah, good times. All right, we won the die roll. That's awesome. Oh my god, what a weird hand. That's a mulligan. Another weird hand. If we draw blue mana off the top, this hand is pretty gas. Opponent's mulliganing to 6. We've got 2 lands. We've got some great cards in hand. I might want to bottom the only card that we can actually cast apart from Path to Exile. I feel like sometimes we might need to keep these kinds of hands. I just don't know how much better it could be going down to 5. Opponent's mulliganing as well, so potentially they're kind of weak. So I think I'm going to keep this, and I'm going to bottom Eladamri's Call. And any fetch is amazing. Any shock with blue is amazing. Basic island is pretty good. So for any of you guys just tuning in now, we just beat Oops All Spells, which is pretty nice. Well, Ethereal is sort of a draw. I wonder if... So, let's see. If they play a land and cast Utopia Sprawl, in response, I can path the Arbor Elf, which will give them a land. I guess I just pass, right? This looks like maybe Heliod combo. I'm not exactly sure what green-white deck plays Arbor Elf these days. So it is Heliod combo. Nice. I know my stuff. So I think this thing is worth pathing. You guys agree with me? We have the Eternal Witness to just get back the path, hopefully, eventually. If they had something better, I feel like they would just cast it this turn, right? So I'm going to use my mana efficiently and path this thing right now. We'll see if I get punished for it, but I know that that card is legit in this deck. This is still probably like the 3rd or 4th time I've played this like exact build of this deck. I played against it a long time ago, before it was in its current form. I mean, what I mean to say is just like early versions of Heliod combo, which I think some of them were just like mono white with Walking Ballista and Heliod. So now's a big turn where we would really love to draw that blue source. And in particular, something like Breeding Pool. So getting pretty sketchy matchups so far in this league. Modern is in kind of a weird place as far as I can tell. Not a bad card to have in the matchup, but it's a very explosive deck, and we are without any spells this turn. And not just without spells, but, Ether Vial can't do anything for us, just no activity on this entire turn cycle. Not what you want to be doing on your turn 3. But any kind of interaction like Path or Deputy or Skyclave is just massive in this matchup. So if I do draw that blue source at this point, I'm pretty sure I would just tap out for Deputy on my next turn. Okay, it looks like the opponent doesn't have another land. Interesting. What? Oh, Collected Company for sure. So we don't have Force, so hey, that's a good one. But can't do it at instant speed. So I mean, if they cast Collected Company, we just have to pray that they don't hit the combo or the piece that they're missing that they don't have in their hand. The correct play here could just be tap out for Eternal Witness, get back Path to hand. I think that's probably the way to go. But since they didn't hit a land drop, maybe it's just correct to play Deputy on Arbor Elf. But I'm pretty sure keeping Deputy for a combo piece is probably better. But then we can always play Deputy next turn and Violin Soulherder. That doesn't work because Deputy only takes one thing at a time, not like Skyclave Apparition. Oh, I can't cast Eternal Witness right now. So I guess Soulherder, and well, we can probably just start by Viling and Coatl, see what we draw. Path would be nice, another path, just so we have like more interaction. It's kind of like Devoted Druid in the sense that, like, you just have to have ultimate respect for their ability to combo off at any moment. And always take the interactive path rather than tapping out when you have other options that could potentially let you stop what they're trying to do. Opponent choosing to respond to Ether Vial activation. Just curious. All right, well, if they're responding to this now, I can untap and play, not untap, but just play Deputy once we see what enters the battlefield. So actually this worked out to our benefit, I think. Not amazing by our opponent, getting freaked out by Ether Vial here. Okay. Well, Skyclave is annoying. Is very annoying. This was about to start generating tons and tons of value. Wow. Okay, well, that's rough for us. We're going to say okay. Now, remember, well, we do get to Vial in our Ice Fang. But at least they didn't have any combo pieces. And so I think we just have to play Deputy and get rid of their Giver, because that's just otherwise going to protect their combo for the rest of the game. All right. Weird hand from the opponent. Missing land drops, no combo pieces. If we draw a green source, we'll be able to have access to Path to Exile next turn. And we've got a lot of lands in the deck. Can also just play Soulherder, and if they path us, then we can get more green mana. So, okay, so main phase collected company. Interesting. Okay, there's a Heliod and a Ranger Captain, which gets to go search for a Walking Ballista, I guess, right? So now, I think we have to play Soulherder, blink the Deputy, and grab the Heliod. If I'm not mistaken. A very awkward game mono-wise. That Ether Vial was pretty core, pretty central. If we Ephemerate Deputy, they need to pay 6 to get enough to kill this thing with Walking Ballista. So I think Soulherder, and it's going to start growing. Unfortunately, they're going to then untap with Giver, which is really annoying. But we do just have to kill Heliod, otherwise we lose. I mean, they play Walking Ballista, X equals 1, right? It just comes in with 1 counter. They don't have anything that's going to multiply those counters yet. They have no way to gain life on board. But I think just getting rid of Heliod is kind of important. Necessary. But then they could just Walking Ballista kill the Soulherder, which is rough. I don't know. I think we just kind of have to battle it out. Get rid of their combo pieces, as I said. I'm probably not going to block with the Ice Fang, so I think I'll probably just get in with the Ice Fang. Like, unless I'm misreading this, it seems like they play Walking Ballista for X equals 2. Oh, well, anyhow, just going to attack, as I said. Seems like Heliod being bigger than a mountain should probably have reach. But he doesn't. Yeah, but they don't have 6 mana, do they, right? They just have 4 mana. Again, green mana gives us access to Path, so I would be able to deal with this Giver of Runes. Because I think Walking Ballista wants something like Hardened Scales or Conclave Mentor on the battlefield, so that they can just pay for X equals 1, and then it will enter with 2, reducing the mana commitment for Walking Ballista. Spike Feeder. And another Giver. Well, that's... I really want to draw a green source right now is what I was going to say. Double Giver is kind of absurd. Because they can just protect each other for the rest of the game. So I need to get something like well, just going to keep playing. All right, so we've got Ephemerate, we've got Call Up. We're going to blink this snake. I mean, maybe we'll draw land at some point. I mean, I shouldn't really complain about the lands. We had Ether Vial this game, which is amazing, except they had their Skyclave Apparition. Which I don't know how many they play in the main deck, but I doubt it's 4. I mean, even getting like Skyclave Apparition is here is poor because Giver can just protect whatever. So, do I want to cast anything here? I don't really think so. I mean, yeah, fair enough. Though I think we might as well. Maybe I just blink the Ice Fang again to just make a pretty big Soulherder, make it hard for them to. Seems like they're trying to combo out here. So just let me go for Ephemerate on the snake, see what I can draw. Grow the Soulherder a little bit. I mean, if they're going to combo out, they're going to combo out. Another Ephemerate. So it seems sort of okay. I'll just cast it. Oh, all they need is a Heliod here because they're going to start gaining infinite life with Spike Feeder. Making their creatures swole. We drew a Skyclave, so I don't know. They have the Givers, so interaction is sort of off the table. Skyclave blowing up Deputy, getting back Heliod, and now we just, I guess, let them do their thing. And if we can get, they don't, I guess they do have the Walking Ballista, but they don't have the mana for it yet. Double Giver is very difficult for us. I don't think this is going to, yeah, not just Giver, but Double Giver. Double Giver is like a whole nother level. Maybe they're F6'd or something. Let's see. Maybe they're trying to save time. I doubt they'd be F6'd. Yeah, they're seriously not F6'd. But, like... I mean, I guess... I don't know, whatever. They're going to play the Walking Ballista... I don't really have time to do the Ephemerate stuff. Let's see if I can get them with some of these triggers, like path in between some of this stuff. Like let's let him do it a few times and then try to. I mean, come on, Uro gains me 3 seconds on the clock or something. It's not that big of a deal. I mean, this path is wasting more time than Uro would have done. Like, how long is this guy going to take on this path to exile? That's like a good 45 seconds there or something. Interesting. I think they can just kill me in response to any of this stuff. It's kind of stupid. Or no, they can't. They can't. This is funny. This is pretty dumb. I shouldn't have given them a 3-3. Just getting a little bit silly here. Okay. Yeah, I don't know. It's like this guy doesn't seem to want to like actually beat me. It's pretty strange. I don't know. Be nice if they went for like a Coco here because I could just counter it. Oh, that's sick. Okay. I think I just want to draw cards here. I know. I just want them to not have any attacks here. Like I'll start attacking with Soulherder very soon. And by very soon, I mean like next turn, once I get one more creature on the battlefield. I can call this turn right now for a an Eternal Witness and get back Path, and then we should be okay. Actually, Ephemerate and then Path. Do they have another Collected Company? Oh my goodness. Okay. Ugh. Okay. All right. Well, they get to go get another thingamabob. But we get to Path and then blink our Skyclave, so we're doing good. Actually, this guy will prevent me from casting spells right now, but then I can Path on their turn, on their upkeep. So I think that's probably fine. I should probably... Is there a difference if I get... I think I should get Path. Just if it does go to their upkeep and they have Path and I go for Ephemerate, they could Path the Eternal Witness in response to me trying to Ephemerate. So I think I'm just going to get Path. Like we already have Soulherder here, blinking stuff. So it's going to blink the Skyclave. This guy's indestructible, so I kind of want to get rid of him. Actually, sorry. Well, let's see. I'm just gonna piece this guy out right now. And then I don't really care about anything else on the board. I can get back Path from the graveyard right now. So if they have the combo in hand, they can just sack their ranger captain right now. I think they're scooping, honestly. So what a weird game. That was the wildest turn with that Skyclave apparition and like double Ephemerate. They had tapped one of their givers the previous turn, so they only had one of them up. That was we won through double giver of runes. Path is definitely coming in. Did they play Hardened Scales? I guess they do play like Walking Ballista, so maybe Night of Autumn is reasonable. Celestial Purge through... No, not Celestial Purge. Just Winds of Abandon here. Computer. Let's do it. Maybe Ether Gust is okay. They search with Eladamri's Call, but I think I've found Ashiok to be pretty poor in the past. Well, there's definitely some punting involved, but anyhow, you can probably trim at least one force, maybe two forces. They really only have Collected Company and maybe a couple of Eladamri's Calls. As for us, I don't know. We don't really need all of our calls. That's true. Maybe Ashiok's probably worth it. Maybe Knight comes out. There's not that many artifacts to blow up. Just the walking ballistas. Oh, Ceremonious Rejection is pretty sick. I meant to bring that in the last couple times. Guess Uro's kind of dumb. Watcher kind of weird. I'll just take out that force. Like, I think I'll just leave like Ashiok and Ceremonious as interaction for their tutors and their walking ballista. All right, so let's just like not play super duper slowly, and it should be hard for the opponent to win 2 games in 11 minutes, which is what I think they have left on their clock. Opponent's keeping 7. We've got 5 lands, Snake, Ashiok. I think we're looking for something like removal, so I'm going to mulligan this. Oh my god, this is so much better. I'm going to go like this, like all of this stuff. Actually, hold on a sec. We're going to keep this. And then I think just Path plus Eternal Witness is probably better than the Skyclave. But let's bottom the Witness for now, as silly as that seems. Okay, that's interesting, but not yet, really. So some combo piece here. Sure. All right, so I guess Spike Feeder goes straight into Infinite Life territory. But I guess they need 2 mana or something, so I can path it now. Unless I am mistaken. Oh, do they get to gain infinite life? I think they do, right? So that's kind of unfortunate. Yeah, okay. So they're going to gain infinite life. It's just this is a 2-card combo. Oh, wait. I'm sorry. I can respond. Can I respond to the first trigger? Oh, yeah, you're right. I can path again, right? Is that correct? I'm pretty sure I can just path again. Because, yeah. All right. Well, it's going to give us a little bit more time, basically, right? I kind of forgot that double path is cool like that. All right, well, next turn we'll have Ether Vial on 3, and we can just pop Heliod. Oh, I could have done it with 1 path. Is that... See, that's the inexperience here. So they would remove 1 counter. Yeah, that was stupid. That was my bad. So I needed to wait for them to start going for the infinite life, and then, of course, I could path it. So I'll remember that for the next time. Thanks, guys, for pointing that out. Yeah, I totally remember now. All right, so they get to do this again, but they're passing the turn, and I can just... well, if they go for it... Oh my god, look at all of these. If they go for it here, I can just try to path, and they'll try to gain more life, and then I can do it again. I don't... Okay, I guess. I mean, I don't know. I'm just gonna blow this thing up right now with Skyclave Apparition, and they can gain infinite life if they want, but it's the clock, right? As long as I stay ahead on the clock, I think I'm just totally fine. Next turn, I can just path the Mentor. They can relocate counters, right? But we're going to have tons of creatures. It's possible, I don't know, maybe I did this wrong because Skyclave can actually get rid of Heliod, whereas the Paths can't really deal with Heliod, but I don't know. Any Ephemerates will do the job. I can also... Yeah, I should have done Heliod, but I can also just Path, Eternal Witness, get back Path, kill one of their creatures, Eternal Witness, kill Path, get back one of their creatures. Yeah, should have been Heliod. I agree. My bad. But you know what? No, if I don't go after... Well, I guess I could just try to chump this now. But at least I'm not going to take any damage this turn from attacks. Not really sure how relevant that is. I also have a Ceremonious Rejection for Walking Ballista, so it's not going to hit the battlefield. And I can just counter their Walking Ballista, like as many Walking Ballistas as they have. So basically, we want them to get down to at least like 4 minutes or lower in this game. That's kind of the goal on our side. Ephemerates are amazing draws off the top. Why anybody would choose to play this deck on Magic Online is completely beyond me. Nah, I can't do that, because I only have one Ether Vial. I can't do Skyclave and Eternal Witness. Yeah, but I'm going to have 2 creatures, right? So I can just block them, and I also have Eternal Witness coming with Path to Exile to kill one of their creatures, so it's not, you know... Winds of Abandon is interesting, but I think I'd rather hold up Rejection and Path. So let's see. I don't really see a reason to sort of blink first here. Maybe I'll get punished, but like Eternal Witness for Path in response to something seems okay. Like Eternal Witness Path just gets rid of both of these creatures, so... All right, they've got one card in hand. We've got Ceremonious up for Walking Ballista. I mean, what are you going to do? Ephemerate remains an awesome draw because we can hit Skyclave. Okay, well, land is sort of okay as well. I still don't want to tap out of blue, so I think I just pass the turn for now. Yep. I mean, now I can just go like Eternal Witness, get back Eternal Witness, I guess. Still can't really tap out, I don't think. It's actually good for us if they play more creatures because it's going to turn Heliod into a creature, and then we can just path it. All right, there we go. Now we can play a creature. And we're getting closer to being able to just cast Winds. Uro is something that we can violin if we feel like it. Might as well maybe attack with an Eternal Witness or two. Opponent's at 150, actually, so I think it's just about the time. That's fine. Well, maybe that was loose, I don't know. But I can just path that thing. Okay, Spike Feeder gets to gain more life. Doesn't really matter at this point. Can also make this thing big, but yeah, no blocks for now. Oh wait, no, they can move counters, but I can path. So just let them spend some more time, and then I'm just going to path. And remember, they need to win 2 games here, right? So it's pretty dumb. It's pretty dumb. I agree. Where are my ephemerates at? I would take a Skyclave off the top as well. All right, the opponent just scooped. I think we won like both of the last times we came up against this deck. And maybe just our ability to just dirtle just exceeds their ability to combo off effectively. Oh, the first game was actually pretty remarkable. This opponent has 2 undefeated trophies, so pretty cool. So we're sitting at 3-1 currently. We beat Jund, Heliod combo, and oops, all spells. So 2 difficult matchups, I guess. And unfortunately, we lost to Esper Rogue Mill, which I think we should be okay against, but I don't know, like just didn't pan out. that was a pretty stupid match. I'm gonna take like a very, very quick break, like 30 seconds, and I'll be right back and we'll finish it up. All right, let's do this. Let's get that 4-1. Glad you're having such a good time, King Magic. Are you new to the stream? The name doesn't ring a bell for me. King Magic 95. Let's see. Opponent's mulliganing to 6. We've got Force for like busted decks. We've got a 2-drop, but we need to draw blue mana. It's if this were like an island instead of a plains, I think it's like a snap keep. The fact that it's a plains means it's not a snap keep. But any land turns on Skyclave Apparition, which is a good card. Teferi's a good card. Force a good card. I think I'm going to keep this. I'm going to roll the dice. Okay, well, anyhow, welcome to the stream. Thanks for following me. I'm sorry that I don't recognize the name, but I will definitely recognize it now. Opponent has mulligan to 5. Plains into Giver of Runes. Ugh, okay. So it looks like a matchup where Skyclave should be pretty amazing. What a draw that was. Okay. So, leading with fetches against taxes type decks, usually a good idea. Stoneforge. We're going to just crack this right now and get green-blue. We are typically super solid against these kinds of decks. If we could ramp here, it would just be sensational. Okay, well, we didn't ramp, but we are doing okay, opponent is on 2 lands. They are going to get to cheat Batterskull into play. They do have Giver up, but we get to pop Giver here. End path. Yeesh. All right, the deck is cooperating here. We need to deal with Giver. That's like sort of the first thing that we have to do. So we'll take a hit from Batterskull. It's not a huge deal. But we do need to get rid of Giver. Batterskull is annoying, but we can, I don't know. I guess we'll sort of see how it goes. We can play Soulherder. Now, Skyclave Apparition can't deal with Batterskull. But, okay, they found another land. No blocks yet. Another stone forge. So it's getting a little spotty, but we do have path now. So if they have a maul, and when it enters the battlefield, they get to strap it onto something right away. We can wait and sort of see what happens with leaving path up. Land there was excellent. They can't vial in either of these things right now. I think I might just play Teferi and bounce the Batterskull, just slow them down. We don't need to gain life yet. You know, get our game going here. Actually, bouncing the germ is probably better, right? Yeah, bouncing the germ is better, I think. Because equipping costs 5, right? Yeah. And ephemerate is pretty sick. Okay. So now we'll just pass the turn. We've got Teferi down, which means, yeah, good stuff, basically. Now, as long as we don't time out, we should be okay. Flicker Wisp, gonna blink something. Blinking Batterskull. Okay, right. So that just re-ETBs. Fair enough. I think I just want to start killing their stuff. But there's no real rush here. I think just ephemerating is ephemerate, kill Flicker Wisp, give them a 1/1. Flicker Wisp is annoying. It gets to kill Teferi if I don't deal with this right now. So we will path here. Sorry, ephemerate here. We've got path up still. I think I'm just going to hit the Oracle now. Try not to fall behind on time. I'm already kind of double path is very nice. So that means what? We can tick Teferi up. We can cast. I don't think I need. I think I want to get Soulherder down here. And I don't need double path up. Single path is fine. Okay, Eternal Witness gets Ephemerate, so tightening the noose a little bit here. I'm sort of okay giving them a land. Batterskull, you know, we kind of need Deputy to handle Batterskull. Knight we have from the sideboard. They're going to run out of resources soon. They do have this silly maul here. Ghost Quarter. If they have, okay, so Arbiter's going to get us on one of our lands, which is a little bit annoying. I can force this. I'm going to force this. They have one card in hand. They're blowing up this land. I can't search. That's totally fine. And we'll go to our turn. All right, so we are just going to play Uro, gain some life. Oh, what? Oh, there we go. Let's tap like that. Nope. Okay, so Uro's in the house. Gonna blink a snake. If they field, we can path in response. We're gonna say no to this, and beautiful. Soulherder's growing. They're almost certainly going to cycle that canyon. They're thinking about it. If they go for field, we're going to path the Leonin Arbiter. Okay. We know they have the Maul in hand, which gives like first strike and some plus whatevers. Are we blinking Batterskull again? Okay. I think I still want to path the Flicker Wisp. It's a flyer. Flyers are annoying. It does give them lands, but they can't search because of Arbiter, so that's nice. Now, I can just... Oh, I have to pay for this guy, and then I can escape Uro? That seems fine. So we've got blue, we'll have... Or blue, green, and we'll get green. We've got green, so... We take like 5 times more game actions than any of our opponents. It just takes forever to play this deck. So next turn, Eternal Witness getting this has to kill my Soulherder, I guess, right? Uro, interesting choice. Okay. All right, good cards. Very nice. So at this point, maybe we just bounce the Germ, get rid of Batterskull, but definitely want to get Ephemerate here. And just chill since we've got Teferi out. But we can protect Teferi, I think, well enough. Let's return the Germ, draw a card. Windswept Heath. Can't crack this just yet. We'll play the Ether Vial and probably just pass the turn. Can get back the path right now, I guess. I'm watching the clock for sure. Opponent doesn't seem to like the position that they're in. Okay. All right, cool. So we got game 1. Opponent mulligan to 5. They came out with good stuff. They had the turn 2 Stoneforge, I think, getting Batterskull, which is kind of what they want to do. They didn't have Ether Vial. Obviously, would be better if they had Ether Vial. But they did multi-5. We tend to have a good matchup against this deck. Worship is not good because they play Skyclave Apparition. Knight of Autumn is insane in the matchup. Ashiok prevents Stoneforge Mystic from searching. What do you guys think about Ashiok in the matchup? I mean, it's not that amazing. Obviously, Winds of Abandon is great. The extra path to exile. I think the forces are very poor. It's basically just countering paths. They might bring in their own Winds of Abandon, but I don't think it's worth keeping in forces. They're just pretty poor. So, I mean, Thos is excellent because we can keep her off being a creature and just dodge path and generate a lot of value. I do like Teferi in the matchup. I don't think Ashiok is quite good enough. They're going to get down an early Stoneforge, and then, you know, the no searching thing is not really going to help us that much. And obviously, they don't really care about their graveyard. Ceremonious Rejection would seem like it could be good against against a deck that runs so many artifacts, but they're usually just cheating them into play with Stoneforge. So I'm going to run it like this. Took out 3 forces. We brought in Knight and 2 extra pieces of removal. And 1 game away from the 4-1. We are a little behind on time. Fortunately, we seem to be playing against an opponent who isn't dead set on grinding it out until the last second. I think I can keep this, yeah. Opponent kept as well. We're going to fetch first because that's pretty important. All right, so we've got a lot of lands and not a lot of spells. Hopefully that's going to change starting next turn. Another Ether Vial. Oh, man. Knight is, as I said, really, really, really ridiculously good in this matchup. Okay, this is going... Those are 2 sick top decks right there. Knight of Autumn is just so good. Is this like, okay, Skyclave gonna blow this up? Honestly, like, I mean, it's a good card. It's doing great things right here for them. But we're gonna keep playing lands. Eventually, we're going to wins them, and I'm just going to play Knight here and just blow up their leading Ether Vial. They might have a 2-drop to play, which is fine, of course. I will. If I fetch. And they flash in their dude, then I can't play anything this turn. So maybe I don't fetch yet. I have so many lands right now. So why risk fetching? I think I just want to play Knight, blow up their Ether Vial. So let's play that. And they do have 2 Ether Vials, but just getting Knight down seems good. Ephemerates get that much better. Okay. So opponent's got good stuff this game. But as I said, we've been drawing pretty well also. Sort of Fire and Ice. So let's go Ephemerate, basically. They get to equip this right now. Okay. All right. Sort of Fire and Ice is pretty rough. I'm sure that they're going to send it at the Knight. Well, if I block here... I guess I lose the Knight anyway, but they don't get to draw a card. So maybe just blocking is the play here. Ugh. And they still have this up on 2. Let's start with Coiling Oracle. But, let me play this. Don't know why, really. That was a little bit weird. Well, Thassa is a thing. I'm 2 turns away from winsing, but this thing is going to get in cleanly for 6 points of damage a couple of turns in a row. I might just have to wins their Skyclave right now. Is it really that good? I mean, next turn we Thassa. I don't know. I should have probably just... I don't know why I played that Hallowed Fountain so quickly. Yeah, getting rid of their Skyclave, it gives us... Well, I don't know. Maybe it's not good. Let them play out their creatures. Hopefully we just don't die to the Skyclave. They didn't have any creature on 2. Which means actually Flicker Wisp saves something from Winds of Abandon, which is pretty rough for us. Hopefully, I guess? Well, I don't know. Guys, we're just falling behind here, I think. At my face. Okay. Do they have a flyer to then sort of just finish me off? If they get in with Flicker Wisp and this thing, I'm just toast. That's 9 damage. But at the same time, I don't really know what my wind is going to do here. Gets rid of this guy. They strap this on, 3 damage coming through, 3 damage coming to send 2. But then I don't have a way to deal with the rest of their creatures. They're going to keep coming with sword, so I guess get Thassa down and then sort of pray. I don't know, guys. I think I'm out of this one. Oh, well, let's see. If I get to, well, they do have pro blue. All right, are they blinking my Thassa? Oh, skyclaving my Thassa. Huh. All right, well, we get to live another turn, I guess. And then I get a bunch of creatures. If they have a 3-drop, I think I'm still just toast. Oh, well, I do get some illusions, but they can't block the sword. So I think we're still just dead. Okay, so the Mind Sensor gets the sword and it just kills us. Nothing we could have done about that, so we'll just concede the game. All right, well, that was very explosive. They were on the play, we were on the draw, and as I said, I do think I'm slightly favored, maybe even more than slightly favored in this matchup. I think I sideboarded well. Yeah, I think I sideboarded well. So we're just going to submit again. And it all comes down to this. We get to be on the play, which is quite nice. I have been mulliganing a lot in this league. We'd love to get a nice opening hand, obviously. Plenty of time. And, I mean, it's nice, but it's not nice enough. I can't, there's no reason to roll the dice against this deck, I think, with a hand like this. Of course, any land will turn on these guys on turn 3. They're quite good in the matchup, but they don't handle Batterskull, and I can't play my snakes, so I think I have to mulligan. All right, this is significantly better. So I think I'll keep here. Bottom the Canopy Vista. Fetch first. Hitting our life total a little hard, but we've got Uros. Turn 1 Giver into turn 2 Stoneforge is kind of the dream, apart from, I guess, well, Aether Vial is also pretty good. So, yeah, Giver's going to protect the Stoneforge. Okay, that'll give us a 2-drop to Violin. That's kind of great. Thassa's a good card. But I am just going to get rid of the Giver of Runes here. Opponent is just going to hold up their Stoneforge, I'm sure. All right, again and again with the Skyclave apparitions. Double ephemerate. I think getting Thassa down is probably pretty good. She could start attacking pretty soon. If they have a land, they can Stoneforge this thing in and then equip it. And I don't have really anything to do about that except ephemerate the deputy. Actually, ephemerating deputy to get rid of the sword seems amazing. In response to their like activation, right? Or their attempt to equip. Well, I can grab both givers now, but we do want to get rid of that sword. Why don't I start by ephemerating one of these sneaky boys? Okay, that means I can path the Stoneforge right now. It doesn't really help with this sword situation. Do I care about this enough to want to path it? I think we keep path up for when they... well, I think pathing this is actually pretty good. Because it's a flyer. And we always have... this is tricky. Well, I already cast... okay, so I'll let this thing resolve. I cast Ephemerate now and then just path it on my upkeep. That thing. Kind of want to get ahead on cards. Maybe this is stupid. I'm not sure. Let's see. Can't really go wrong with double path. All right, so the first one obviously is going to hit a snake. I didn't mean it that way. Second one, I could blink the deputy to take away Giver, but they're going to strap on the sword next time. And then I can path in response. That seems like a good turn. So I'll hit the deputy and just take away the Giver of Runes. We've got both Givers, I guess. And we can just continue attacking in the air, little by little. Guess I could play the snake now to see if I draw land, in which case I would want to play it. Okay, draw. All the paths are with me here. I still don't feel great about my spot. But I think they're running out of resources. I got it covered, King Magic. I'm on top of it. So they've got this sword now, which I really want to kill. Arbiter. Okay. Now I could give them back. I can give them back their Givers and take the sword away. But I still have this path up, so I think I'm fine for the time being. And wow, Thassa is actually alive. Okay, just passing the turn for now. Interesting. Haven't seen much of Stonehorn this league. Yeah, pathing during combat for sure. Last turn it didn't matter because they only had the 2 creatures. All my creatures are blue. Okay, that means we can't search. Now I should be able to tap down creatures and get in for some damage. Or just attack. Maybe I just play Stonehorn and then it doesn't matter. Opponent probably frustrated with the fact that I drew all those paths. It's pretty rough. But, you know, we've seen Tax's decks like always have all the paths. And, you know, it's whoever draws more paths is usually going to do better. So, yeah, we ended with the 4-1 in the extremely, extremely weird league this evening. All right. So feels pretty good. As I said, I think that matchup is pretty solid for us. Particularly once we get Knight of Autumn in the deck, we get that extra path, we get Winds of Abandon. In game 2, we had the Winds of Abandon, but the opponent was on the play and they had a lot of aggression. They kept 7 cards. They had double Ether Vial to play cleanly around Knight of Autumn. Yeah, King Magic, thanks. I think I'm pretty happy with the result. If we can think about what the matchups were this evening, it was pretty strange. We started off with Esper Rogue Mill, which is a mouthful and also kind of a rare deck. Then we just crushed Jund. They didn't even want to play a second game. Then we beat Oops All Spells, which is a crazy bad matchup. Then we beat Heliod Combo, which is again a crazy bad matchup. And then we beat Mono White Taxes, which is a pretty good matchup. So modern, you know, it's like, I don't know if I would say that I like it, like if this is my favorite metagame ever, but I'm not unhappy with it. It's just really, really wild, the metagame, right? Which I think that's kind of what we want it to be, right? Like, I think the complaints happen when you just get paired against like Uro decks like nonstop, right? Or if like Control was just dominating the format, or if there was one oppressive combo deck, but there's like 5 different combo decks. See how many I can name off the top of my head. We've got obviously Heliod Combo, which we just played against. I think even like Saheeli has been getting, like Felidar has been getting popular. Then we've got Ad Nauseam. You've got Neobrand. Ad Nauseam, Neobrand. There's an obvious one that I'm trying to remember right now, but I'm getting a little tired. Well, anyhow, I guess Inverter. I mean, if we want to go a little deep, Inverter is a combo that you see in Modern sometimes. We saw it on stream recently. King Magic, are you talking about Uro needing to be banned? But anyhow, the point is there's no really dominant deck in the format right now. You saw just like the crazy diversity here. If we had to categorize the matchups that we saw, it's aggro mill, just random, then pure mid-range, right? Then pure combo. But a combo deck that wins through combat with Oops All Spells with the graveyard, which is extremely unique. And you know, we figured out tonight that we have our own angle of defense against the deck, and we won 2 games with Stonehorn, which is pretty sensational. So once again, we had aggro mill, mid range, sort of ETB creature combo that wins through the graveyard. Then you have sort of green-white value combo, infinite life combo. And then in the end, we just had like a Taxes deck. So 2 sort of combo decks that function extremely differently. One is like all in, trying to win on turn 3. The other one trying to grind out just value and has a pretty good long game, actually. Green white Heliod. Yeah, I haven't actually come across like an infinite loop with Mystic Sanctuary in a really long time. I feel like it used to be very oppressive. Just you get Uro down, you play Cryptic, you bounce your Mystic Sanctuary, play Mystic Sanctuary, get the Cryptic back, draw it with Uro, all that stuff. But I agree that I think Mystic Sanctuary was a bad card. It's really badly designed. Similarly, why don't I just change sort of windows here so that you guys can at least look at the deck while I'm talking. I think Field of the Dead and Mystic Sanctuary were designed with Standard in mind, and were even probably pretty poorly designed and broken to pushed in that format. I'm actually not sure. I don't follow Standard so much, but I'm not sure how warping Mystic Sanctuary was, but I know that Field of the Dead, I know it warped the format, and I'm pretty sure it got banned towards the end of its tenure in Standard. But it's just like, what are you thinking? Like, a land that just makes zombies for playing lands. It's just like, it's so stupid. So you have a card like Celestial Colonnade, which is a singular entity that you have to pay 5 mana to turn it into a creature when you've gotten to that point of the game when you have 6 or 7 lands on the battlefield, right? So Celestial Colonnade costs 5 mana to activate it. And then you attack for 4, and you have to keep paying that mana every turn just to attack with your 4/4. That card can get pathed, it can get ghost quartered, whatever. But that card was a defining card in Modern for years in blue-white control. Now you don't see it at all. It's just not good enough. People just play Shark Typhoon and just make a 4/4 while they draw a card, right? Like, so... So the point here is that when you're getting to that stage in the game where you've got 6 or 7 lands on the battlefield, how is Field of the Dead considered like a legitimately sort of balanced Magic card when you compare it to a card like Celestial Colonnade, which was not so long ago a perfectly reasonable finishing card for a control deck? Now, instead of playing Celestial Colonnade, you just play a land that for every single turn for the rest of the game, if you play a fetch land, you get 4 power. And you don't have to pay any mana like you do with Celestial Colonnade. So every fetch land, you get 2 2/2s. If you have any ramp spells, you just get more and more and more and more and more. And there's no investment. It's just for playing a land. It seems so poorly conceived. So I think that Field of the Dead, just as a badly designed Magic card, doesn't do anything good for any format that it exists in. So that card's probably at the top of the list of cards that should get banned. I wouldn't object too loudly if Uro got banned, just because it's a stupid card. It does great things for our deck, and we would definitely take a hit if we lost Uro. It's funny because there are people who are less familiar with the deck in the Discord. And I've heard some of these newer people say like, they don't like I don't like Uro in this deck in Soulherder, and it's like, well, Uro is pretty freaking nuts. Like, if the opponent counters it, you still just get to cast it again from the graveyard. We need life gain in the deck. It provides life gain. We need card draw. It provides card draw. We love to ramp. It ramps us. We need a big finisher. It's a big finisher. We don't like to pay a lot of mana for things. It costs 3. So, when you start saying like, well, I don't like Uro in Soulherder, it's like, okay, so if you ephemerate it, yeah, it blinks and it goes to the graveyard. Fine. You say, doesn't seem like such a great card with ephemerate. But, if you have any other creature on the battlefield, it's fine. Ephemerate's just going to get caught on the rebound by one of your other creatures. If you have an Icefang Coatl, you can even flash it in on your next upkeep. So Ephemerate, definitely not a non-bow with Uro whatsoever. It's actually extremely powerful with Uro, and can dig you out of a lot of really tough spots. Like if you need to gain life really fast and you've got 2 Ephemerates in your hand, that's 9 life. It's just really, really strong. And while gaining 9 life, you're potentially also putting 3 extra lands onto the battlefield. So I don't need to convince you guys that Uro's a good card. The whole point here is that it might be too good. And then Teferi's like neck and neck with Uro. I would put Teferi ahead of Uro on the list of cards that should be banned. Once again, just an extremely poorly conceived card. Like Magic, wizards, they like to write long essays, like feel-good essays about all their wonderful thoughts they have when they're designing their sets and their cards. They have this whole like fire idea. I think it's like fun and innovative and replayable and exciting, and it's like all of those words mean exactly the same thing, but they came up with this word fire. Our design is fire. I don't know if you guys know about this, but so fun. Teferi's not fun. I don't know if I is innovative or whatever, but I mean, I don't know. Bouncing things and drawing cards, not very innovative. Replayable. I mean, Teferi is like the most boring card ever designed. And then exciting, just alongside replayable, is like it's the least exciting card ever printed. It's just stupid. So it's just so much value, and it's not a creature, so we don't really want to run a ton of them. But if we just draw the one of them, get it on the battlefield, it suddenly becomes so much harder to lose, right? Because your opponent doesn't know if they should divert resources to get Teferi off the battlefield. If they do send attacks at Teferi, we can defend him if we need to. We can block a creature and ephemerate, and of course they can't respond. So ephemerate just becomes uncounterable. We get to ghost block at will. And the fact that we can just buy it back with Eternal Witness, it's so strong. So I'm ready to see Teferi leave the format. I'm ready to leave Uro leave the format. But before either of those go, I really think that the 2 lands, Field of the Dead and Mystic Sanctuary, are just really unnecessary. The whole King Magic, the idea that those cards should be legendary, I think is actually pretty smart. I mean, how many cracks in the earth are you going to come across that you have zombies pouring out of? Like, lore-wise, seems like legendary would just be fine, right? Like, it's this one big event. But I mean, it's hard to complain about the legendary rule when it comes to lands, because you have the outstanding example of Valakut not being legendary. It's actually named, and there's a whole series, I think, of lands from that set, or cycle, I guess I could say, alongside Valakut that are not legendary, but they're named lands, like name, comma, the something, right? Like Emiria, well, that one actually might be legendary. I'm not sure. Anyhow, Valakut should be legendary, obviously, right? So anyhow, thanks very much for joining me, guys. The deck still feels good. I don't know that there's anything else I would change. I did not miss Glasspool Mimic. This, if you guys were not here with me at the beginning of the stream, this was the card that I replaced this evening. It was one of the more recent changes. I had replaced a basic plains to get this like half island, half clone card in the deck, and it just never impressed me. And there are just so many situations where Glasspool entering tapped as a land is like quite detrimental. I mentioned again earlier that people mention often Canopy Vista when they're asking me about my list, and they say, doesn't it feel clunky? Don't you like have situations where you can't really play your spells on the first turn or two? And the answer is kind of no. The only way it's like a drawback is if you have like literally exactly Canopy Vista and Ether Vial in your hand, and you just can't play the turn 1 Ether Vial because of Canopy Vista, and then you just mulligan. But we have mulligans all the time for different reasons, and so the odds of having Canopy Vista as your only land in hand alongside Ether Vial are pretty slim. However, the odds of coming up against a very aggressive deck that forces us to have all of our mana colors in multiples very, very, very early in the game in order to not die, Canopy Vista has been just kind of invaluable against all of these black-red prowess decks, mono-red prowess, blue-red prowess. getting down a couple of basics in the first couple of turns, and then getting Canopy Vista so that you can cast Uro and then ephemerate things. I mean, Canopy Vista coming down and not hitting you for 2 damage to enter untapped, it's a big deal. And I stand by the choice of running this card as a singleton in the deck, just as an option. You can get it early in the game if you don't want to get stuck with it later. Or, you can continue fetching basics and then let Canopy Vista enter to untapped later on in the game. It's very flexible, and it's extremely rare that it actually kind of bites me. But I've already had, a few situations with Glasspool in just a few weeks where it's felt like not really what I want in the deck. So with that, I think I'll let you guys go. Once again, thanks very much for joining me. I'll be back on Thursday with more Soulherder. And just happy that we got the 4-1 this evening. I think we just only lost the first round, and against a deck that I think we should have pretty good game against. It's that Esper Rogue Mill deck. All right, so have a good evening, and I'll see you guys on Thursday. Adios.